Welcome along to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
If you love getting right into the thick of rugby analysis, make sure you hit subscribe to Rugby Obsession.
Definitely.
Today, we're taking a close look, really zeroing in on the Springboks.
Yeah.
Where do they stand right now as they sort of gear up for the 2025 season?
Yeah, absolutely. We're basing this on a piece from the South African website just published yesterday, May 7th. It's called Reminder, How Comfortable Are the Springboks in World Rankings?
Okay.
And our plan really is to unpack what their current ranking means, in the context of a pretty busy international year ahead.
Right, a busy year indeed.
Yeah.
So the article kicks off with this pretty staggering milestone, 2,000 consecutive days as world champions for the Springboks.
Yeah, 2,000 days. It's quite something, isn't it? Just shows incredible consistency.
It really does. And crucially, the article points out that this isn't just about holding the cup. They've consistently been #1 in the World Rugby Rankings throughout that whole period, too.
Exactly. That link between winning the big one and maintaining that top spot, week in, week out almost, it suggests something really solid within the setup, like a real high-performance culture.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of rankings, it seems the Boks were keeping a, shall we say, keen eye on the recent Six Nations.
Well, yeah, you'd have to, wouldn't you? The article suggests they were, let's say, not unhappy with how things panned out for their main rivals.
Right. Specifically mentions France's performance maybe not hitting their peak and Ireland slipping down to third.
It just highlights how interconnected it all is at the top, doesn't it? Even when you're not playing, what happens elsewhere directly impacts your standing. Ireland losing ground, France maybe not climbing. That works in the Bucks' favor ranking points-wise.
Okay, so let's get into those points then.
Yeah.
Because the article makes a big deal about the lead they actually have. It's not marginal.
No, not at all. It emphasizes a, pretty healthy gap. They're sitting 2.42 points clear of New Zealand, who are in second place.
2.42. In this game, where things are often decided by fractions, that feels significant.
It is significant. It suggests, a consistent level of performance recently that's just put them that bit ahead of the All Blacks.
And the gap gets wider further down, Ireland in third.
Yeah, they're 2.95 points behind South Africa.
Almost 3 full points.
And then France in fourth are 3.27 points adrift. So you've got this clear buffer zone at the very top.
It paints a picture of, clear daylight, doesn't it? Between the Boks and the chasing pack.
It does. And another interesting point the article makes is the gap between that top four and then fifth place, which is Argentina currently.
Ah, okay. So there's another step down.
Yeah, quite a noticeable one, apparently. It sort of reinforces this idea that right now there's a bit of a dominant group, South Africa, New Zealand, Ireland, France, pulling away slightly from the rest.
So what does this comfort, this cushion in the rankings, actually mean as they head into this packed 2025 season? Does it change their approach?
Well, the article sort of implies it provides a really positive backdrop, mentally perhaps. Knowing you've earned that top spot and have a bit of breathing space, it doesn't mean you relax, of course.
No, never.
But maybe takes a tiny bit of pressure off or allows you to approach things from a position of confirmed strength.
Okay, a position of strength leading into what looks like a monster schedule. The article lists the confirmed fixtures for 2025.
Yeah, it's pretty full on.
And if you're finding this breakdown useful, folks, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Rugby Obsession for more deep dives like this.
Please do. So yeah, the schedule, it kicks off late June, June 28th, against the Barbarians in Cape Town. Always a fun one, that.
Usually is. Yep. Then it gets serious pretty quickly. 2 home tests against Italy in early July.
Pretoria, then Carvarho, followed by Georgia in Nelspruit on July 19th.
Okay, warming up.
Yeah.
And then, bang, the Rugby Championship, Australia, home and away in August.
Yep, Joburg, then Cape Town for those. And then the big trip across the Tasman, New Zealand.
Always the highlight for many. Auckland and Wellington in September.
Massive tests. Then it's Argentina, late September in Durban, and then that interesting one, Argentina again, but in London, Twickenham, early October.
Yeah, that's a fixture that always generates buzz. And it doesn't stop there. The November tour.
Nope. Wales in Cardiff, France in Paris, Italy again in Turin, and wrapping up against Ireland in Dublin.
Wow. That is relentless. Wales, France, Italy, Ireland, back to back to back to back, pretty much.
And the article even mentions potential additional games against Japan and Portugal possibly being added too. So yeah, comprehensive doesn't quite cover it.
It really tests the depth, doesn't it, that kind of schedule?
Absolutely. Squad management will be crucial.
So the article then throws it out to you, the listener. It asks directly, which of these Springbok games this year are you most buzzing about?
Yeah, they encourage you to leave a comment or send a WhatsApp message with your thoughts. We're curious too, actually. What's grabbing your attention most?
We definitely want to hear from you on that. Which clash gets the pulse racing?
It's a great way to sort of feel the vibe around the team and the season. And just a practical note for those interested in that London game against the Pumas.
Ah, yes, the Twickenham one.
The article mentions ticket sales are open, gives details on where to buy them, starting prices, all that practical stuff.
Good info to have. Okay, so let's sort of try and wrap this up. The main takeaway seems to be Springboks are in a really strong spot heading into 2025.
Yeah, that's the core message. Comfortable lead in the rankings, world champions for a long stretch.
But facing a schedule that is absolutely packed with top-tier opposition is going to be fascinating.
Exactly. This piece from the South African really frames it well. Dominance now, but massive challenges just around the corner. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. So the big question for you listening is, what are your thoughts? Do you think this ranking reflects their true strength? How do you see them navigating this schedule?
And which games specifically are you marking on your calendar? We genuinely love to get your perspective on all of this.
Absolutely. Your insights are always valued here. Right, that brings us to the end of this Rugby Obsession deep dive. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We look forward to you joining us for our next deep dive.
And don't forget, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Rugby Obsession.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession deep dive. We look forward to you listening to our next episode.